calm down a little bit. I don't know if law enforcement is going to.
Okay, so they're trying to disperse them now, right? They're trying to disperse them. Just started happening a few moments ago. They threw out smoke bombs and stuff like that. Stuff got people coughing, people choking because it's 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 the gas, it's the tear gas, so it's gonna produce tears and snot, and mucus, and all that sorts of junk. But you notice they're not running. Notice they're not running away. They got more of it. They got more of it. But they're just covering their faces. They're having somebody pick it up and toss it out, something like that. Slowly starting to make their way back down. Slowly starting to make their way back. People getting out of the Capitol through the broken window. Oh, they should have arrested those people. I don't care who you are. They should have arrested anybody inside of that building that wasn't staff, This is the shittiest reaction I've ever seen to a protest like this. To a treasonous act like this. This is beyond stupidity. This is white privilege here. I know I'm freaking a white person, but I see it. Systemic racism going on right now at the Capitol, which is why it makes this so dangerous. Yeah, they're dispersing. So far, there haven't been any shots fired or anything like that. Hopefully not. This could very easily turn into a hostile situation like that. Freaking more rioters coming out the window. Jesus. They're just going to let them right through. They should be under arrest. Broke in to begin with. They need to be dealt with accordingly. So nobody is not being handled properly. They would disperse people within minutes. Within minutes. For a peaceful Black Lives Matters movement, when a few anti-protesters would break something, they'd disperse the whole crowd within minutes. And the people would have already been in place to do so. Whereas this, oh, no preparation, nothing. Okay, now let's call in all the people. It's going to take a couple hours to mobilize. And now start dispersing them. First, yeah, it doesn't matter if it takes 45 minutes to an hour. Nope. So now you got police escorting people out instead of arresting them and putting them into cells for, rioting, destroying federal property, and being traitors. They're just being peacefully escorted away by the police. Flag's allowed to be kept up. Or they finally get it. Yeah, they're finally. No. Well, I think the flag's still there. Are they getting it though? They should take that crap down. I mean, that's not their main concern, obviously. They gotta take care of the rioters first, but all that stuff needs to be removed. And they need to be pushed down more. You're just getting them off the stairs. There's a 6 p.m. curfew. And you're just getting them off the stairs. You're just going to let them hang around the Capitol building. Within minutes, you disperse rioters with rubber bullets, tear gas, and everything of the sort that you could possibly think of using. Fire, water hoses, things of that nature. And yet, because they're white and because they support Trump, you're calmly walking them down the stairs with a little bit of tear gas. A little bit of tear gas. This place should be freaking filled with smoke. All those people in that place should be scattering. Police should be moving forward effectively with that motion, with that intent. This is retarded. There's still people moving towards. You can see in the crowd down there. I don't know if you can or not. You can see in the crowd down there, there's still protesters moving towards. And they've already been classified as rioters, every single one of them, because that's what they have to do. But this is not the way you handle rioters. You push through and arrest. They fall over, whoop-de-doo. They fall over. Arrest them. You are not making them move. They're literally just standing there. What happened to a moving line? A moving line where you gradually push forward. Gradually push forward. Start spraying that tear gas and those rubber bullets. Come on. All you've done is tear gas so far. Lightly done tear gas. Trying to coax people down some stairs. This is pathetic. Why do I feel like I'm still living in like a John Crow era? Jim Crow era. Sorry, I don't care about the guy's name anyway. Why do I feel like I'm still living in that era? This is stupid. We're supposed to be a progressive society. We're supposed to move forward. We're supposed to disperse terrorists and other such nonsense like this. Not a peaceful protest. It's already been announced that this is not a peaceful protest. Disperse them. This is pathetic. This is going to go down in history as the shittiest response to tyranny in our country and history. Some people starting to walk away, I see the police moving down a little bit. So the protesters are still stuck on the stairs, but like I said, it shouldn't matter. Just arrest them. None of them are peaceful protesters anymore. If you can't classify the rest of the BLM movement who weren't breaking crap as peaceful, then you can't do that here. You can't. Within like 30 minutes, they had those types of things dealt with. How many hours has it been with this crap? Why isn't there tear gas going into that crowd right now? Why isn't there rubber bullets being flung around in this crowd right now? They've already been labeled as rioters. It's pathetic. 100% pathetic. All that traffic back there. Look at all that traffic back there. They haven't blocked off the city. Look at all that traffic back there. All that traffic back there on this side, in this picture, going back and forth. I know it's going to take them a while to get people dispersed, but they cleared out Columbus pretty quick when they had the National Guard block off the city. It was within like 20 minutes. Those streets were barren. Okay? You can't tell me it takes hours to do this stuff. I've watched it with my own eyes in real time. It does not take this long. This is failure to act. This is being complacent for rioters, treasonous individuals who are trying to undermine the democracy of this country. America, weak, racist, misogynistic, and disgusting. Still there. They're still there. Not a damn one of those rioters should be anywhere close to that Capitol building right now. It does not take this long. It does not take this long at all whatsoever. We don't want to go to war with the church. Separation of church and state. They want to go to war. They're now terrorists too. Kick them all out. How about that? They cut off the city feed. Must have noticed that. Oh no, we're showing a lot of traffic back there that we probably shouldn't be. Oh no, here we go. They just blipping in and out. They got poor signal. Come on. Disperse them. Disperse them. They're not even dispersing them. I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'm going to keep this rolling. Really don't care what they have to say at this point in time. What the actions call for and what they're doing are completely opposite of what they're supposed to do. Complacency in reaction because they support Trump. But we all know the executive branch was complacent with Trump to the point where they have given the transition team a hard time. They're probably going to stand around and do nothing except for what they're instructed to do by the local authorities. That's what they did in Columbus. They actually let me through because they knew I was only a delivery driver. But then when I got to the local police, they said, nobody's getting through. Turn around. The local police are the ones with all the real authority here. And you saw what their response was. You saw it. Barely any. And very, very extremely selective. Were they selective with Black Lives Matter? No, they were not. But they're being very selective about these guys. You're all a bunch of traitors. You're all a bunch of rioters. You need it dispersed immediately. Why are these people allowed to have that flag out there, huh? Why are they allowed to have that flag out there? Trump 2020, Make America Great Again flag that's obviously he hasn't made this country great. Look what you guys are doing. You're undermining the entire democracy. Jesus, this is a sick sight. This is a disturbingly disgusting sight. Come on, it's been like 10 minutes. Gotten all the people off the stairs. Arrest the people on the stairs that are part of the protest. Throw that Trump 2020 flag down. Let them know this party's over. No? Oh, okay. So they're still being complacent. Look at that. Look at that. That was earlier today. They were trying, but they were not really 100%. I mean, there's only so many of them in there. I'll give them that. There are only so many of them in there. And once they all get past, once they all get past, you can only deal with the ones that are armed and dangerous. But they didn't touch the ones that were armed and dangerous. They didn't touch them. That should tell you something. The one person that got shot probably was firing first, obviously. That wouldn't happen in a BLM protest. One of the BLM protesters or anti-protesters that were there to disrupt the protest and make it a riot, any of them shot at the cops. I guarantee you the one in the BLM would have got away with shooting at the cop and they would have just shot at the protesters instead. That's how sick our country is right now. I'm sitting here watching this live. They still haven't dispersed these people. They've got 40 minutes before their curfew where they have to start arresting people. 40 minutes. These people have 40 minutes to get home or in the direction of home before they are arrested. They ain't doing nothing. They ain't going nowhere. They ain't doing anything. This is a stain on democracy. This is a stain on American history. This is a stain on everybody's faith in our government to act accordingly. Why are they still there? Why are they still being allowed to walk around? They've been labeled rioters. Should be labeled treasonous bastards, but I mean, not maybe like bastards, but should be labeled as terrorists. Domestic terrorists. Every single person there. Guarantee you a lot of those people in that crowd are armed too. Yeah, that is very true. I'm glad they grabbed those because, you know, to recast based off of what they had. They have copies of this shit. I don't know why, but they have copies of this shit. Anyway, so ballots are in. They've been cast. They've been counted. Yeah. I can't wait to hear they said, oh, well, they just picked it back up, finished counting, finished certifying, moved on with their lives. But the protesters were still there. The rioters were still there. I'm sorry, the rioters. Why would you let them stay there? You can bring an old person up and escort them down slowly. No. No, that's a tactic. That's a fucking... I think arrest him. Just arrest him. Scaffolding, whatever. They're pushing back way too slow. They need to freaking just gas them and get it over with. Shoot them with rubber pellets. And burst them completely, 100%. Shouldn't be letting them go home or go free. There's not going to be any sort of accountability because they already let the people go that were. They let a lot of the rioters get away, those that were physically rioting. But since they're all rioters, in roughly 38 minutes, they should start arresting the entire drove of them. Let's bring around some paddy wagons and throw them all in prison. Lock them all up. They're all traitors. Thank you. That only took you however many hours. I should tell you something. You just rip that thing off there. Rip it off there. Come on. You got this. Here we go. Nothing to be respectful of there. It's just a stupid banner. Shitty banner that means nothing. People are stupid. I think they got them all off the stairs now, for the most part, but they're not dispersing them like they would any other riot. These people only have about 36 minutes to get home before they're arrested. Let's see if they go through with it. Let's see if they go through with arresting people. Mike's thing. And tourist attraction out there. Remember all their faces. If you can see them, watch this live. Remember all their faces. Those are misogynistic, racist pricks who are traitors to democracy. Domestic terrorists. Every single one of them. I know there's some news people in there. You can't really say that. They're filming this. But like the people holding up the flags and most of the people there are actually there to be traitors to this country, this nation, to the process, this democratic process. This is why Al Gore shouldn't have let that shit go. You had physical proof that he stole the election, that Bush Jr. stole the election. He didn't win the popular vote, which should have been a 100% guarantee he didn't win the election. Because of our old outdated system, he won the election by gerrymandering election shit in Florida and Ohio. Didn't even do well at hiding it. Well, you should have never let that happen. But now, this is what you get. This is what you get. They're still all standing around down there. I don't see you guys pushing forward. I don't see your line pushing them away. Let me hear what this Republican has to say.
That conversation will happen, could happen, and what might transpire?
Well, the conversation is going to happen in the next few hours. And the objectors are going to have to ask themselves whether they seriously want to persist in their objection. after what they've seen today. And again, knowing that what they're doing has no chance of being successful, that it is all a stunt. I mean, that's a pretty cynical ploy right there. So at a minimum, when we get back together at a conference, I think we all have to say we're not going to persist in the objection. We support the peaceful transfer of power, and we're done perpetuating this fiction that somehow Congress has the authority to overturn the results of the states.
Congressman, to what degree have you been communicated with by leadership about what will happen tonight? Will you reconvene? I've been told that it's possible that the House may reconvene, not in the chamber itself, but in the Ways and Means Committee room.
If that message came down, I missed it. I haven't gotten that. So, you know, I've heard nothing formally from leadership right now. I would imagine they're trying to figure it out. And all the focus right now is just on making sure this thing doesn't escalate any further, making sure that the now violent protesters disband, abide by the curfew. But I have not heard anything about when we're going to reconvene.
Do you believe it's necessary for Congress to send a message that it get back to business as soon as possible?
Yes, 100%. I think it's necessary for Congress to send the message that we support the peaceful transition of power and that we, as the federal government, don't have the right to overturn the will of the states and, by extension, the American people. That is sort of Schoolhouse Rock Constitution 101.
Congressman Mike Gallagher, we thank you so very much for joining us. Chip Reed, I believe, is near Capitol Hill and has some new information to share with us. Chip?
Yeah, I'm just on Constitution Avenue, just outside the Senate. Two things here. Number one, there were about a group of about 20 media with cameras at the Senate swamp site, which you are certainly well familiar with, just out at the bottom of the Senate steps. And out of nowhere, we were suddenly surrounded by about 40 or 50 protesters who started chanting things that I can't repeat about the media on TV. They started throwing bottles. They started pushing people. They picked up the metal fences that we were surrounded by and throwing them at us. And we, for our own safety, evacuated the area, but we did stay long enough to get some pretty good video of them smashing the equipment, cameras, sound equipment, everything they could get their hands on. They just completely took over that spot as they shouted "USA, USA" and "God bless America." Now I'm just across the street at the Russell Senate Office Building, and
What part of trying to silence the free press says "God bless America"? What part of silencing the free press makes you think that it's "Oh, bless America"? Really believe in what they do, but it goes without saying. It's just, this is stupid. Lock them all up. You got about 30 minutes before you have to put them in prison or put them in jail. Before you start having to rounding them up and putting them in jail. I would like to see you round up all those people and put them in jail. It'll be great. I'm going to watch this shit all the way through. We'll make sure that they do what they said they were going to do and disperse them. Oh, there we go. Look at that.
remember one of the protesters standing next to me said, "The police don't care about you guys. They're only protecting the senators. You're on your own, buddy."
Okay.
And
so we
hightailed it out of there. They were absolutely ferociously angry at the media, I must say, picking out some of the media enterprises by name. And it was
suspicious
a
activity from that guy with that Trump flag in the middle that's just kind of laying down there.
The last time I wore a
he should be tackled and
a
handled.
helmet, well, a whole series of times was when I spent a lot of time in Iraq and Afghanistan, and it is so disturbing to have to wear a helmet and a flak jacket on the grounds of the United States.
Got some
Capitol.
smoke.
Heartbreak.
And
rubber bullets.
to hear you say that, Chip, I know as someone who's worked on Capitol Hill for many years, it's sad to see this happening at this hour, to have to be wearing a flak jacket and a helmet. Not only anywhere in the United States of America, but on the near our United States Capitol. And that's what's happening at this hour. You have law enforcement descending on the U.S. Capitol to try and disperse this crowd from the Capitol. It is nightfall now here in Washington, D.C. The mayor of the District of Columbia, Mayor Muriel Bowser, has ordered a citywide 6 p.m. curfew. It's my understanding that it has been communicated to protesters that that curfew will be enforced by arrest. It appears they have already used tear gas and other materials. I want to bring in Jeff Pegues, who is right there on the scene. And Jeff, has that messaging had any effect?
Nope.
Slowly but surely, I think it is having an effect out here, Nora. We see a line of police officers in the rotunda here pushing the crowd of protesters back. And in fact, if you look here to my left, you will see that more of the protesters are streaming from this area, which suggests that police are being more successful in their efforts to clear this Capitol area.
Their minimum
now that
efforts.
the sun has gone down.
Their minimum efforts to actually get things taken care of. Took them hours and hours and hours to do this. They disperse other nonviolent protests that were sabotaged by antagonists in 30-40 minutes. 30-40 minutes. They disperse them. And it's taken them hours in a Capitol building, in a federal building. Look at that response time. Doesn't that shout out to all our enemies across the world that, oh my God, look at their horrible response time? Why were we fearing this? Why were we scared of this? I don't even see any National Guard there. I just see state police. I just see the police. Of course, military is usually on standby or on the outer parameters of filtering people out and keeping people out and filtering them out at the same time. They don't really use... Yeah, so I'm just kind of like going back and forth in my own head about what I saw versus what's going on here. So yeah, I guess you wouldn't really see any military on the front line here. That's not their jurisdiction. But the police are just barely pushing back on these guys. Barely pushing back. You know the drill. Got people going back up towards it. Ain't scared. Dude, those two guys right there, guy on the bike, like that, they're keeping their distance. Some people are keeping their distance, but they're not leaving. And in about 24 minutes, all the people that stay there are to be arrested. You will see. Sorry. Okay, so we'll see. We will see. I want to see a bunch of arrests. That's what I want to see. Anybody that's either now, they're okay. All right. A lot of them are starting to push away. Okay. Oh, sorry. Minor personal issues here. Boy. All right, so what do we got? Got the front cleared. Getting those people out of the backside. That's going to be the main issue, I guess. Don't got the balls. They're all just walking away. Hmm. Jesus apparently wants you to commit treason. That Jesus flag flying in that protest right there. Apparently, Jesus wants you to riot. That's what that guy's saying. He thinks Jesus is on his side. That is hysterical. Hysterical. Funny. You guys are all back in these televangelists and crap right now because they were the devil years ago. Televangelists are horrible people, and all of a sudden you're flocking to them? I believe in a religion that hates as much as that one does. I just don't understand. I know it's just the people. And there's good and bad in every religion, good and bad people in every religion, but my God, consistency. Come on, people. Huge list. It's not even. Oh. Hey, push him back, way back. Okay, that's good. That's good. Got about 22 minutes before you got to start arresting these guys, including the press. It's gonna suck because, you know, press technically needs to be out there covering this stuff. You have to go home, guy. Have to go home, guy. You think because you're filming, you're safe? Think that camera's gonna keep you from getting beat down? The cameraman. Okay. Here we go. Yep. Line up. Line out. Guy's a moron. Look at that helicopter above. Capitol building on lockdown. Only people that are supposed to be there. Hopefully none of the protesters are still up there. Although it wouldn't 100% surprise me. Technically some of the senators be thrown in with the protesters and arrested. On higher charges, obviously, but that will probably never happen. Having a bit of a personal problem here, guys. Bear with me. Okay. Try? They're not trying. They're not trying to disperse anybody. You do not get to determine. You don't get to talk with them. You don't pay their paycheck. I'll be right back. I get a drink. Oh, God. Okay. They're still letting the riders just stand there. How many more minutes have they got? 17. 17 minutes until they are told to have to arrest anybody still there. That's not with the press, obviously. Press will be allowed to be there to get press releases or press passes by the government junk. They're not going to attack the press specifically. Here we go. Oh. Whew. You're still all up there.
That has certainly helped thin the numbers of people that are out front of the Capitol here. There's still a number of people right up along the Capitol base there that are continuing to protest. But for all the talk about what happened inside the Capitol today, a lot of the people that gathered out here did so peacefully. They were here to protest, here to be heard. And many of the folks were just as surprised to hear about what transpired inside the Capitol as everyone watching at home. We have seen not only Montgomery County Police, but a large number of Fairfax County, Virginia Police come into the Capitol area here as they've been moving forces into the area, not only from D.C., but Maryland, Virginia. And if you talk about that curfew that is coming up here in a few minutes, it's been quite some time since where we have seen any police officers, at least moving in this area. I can see some flashing lights in the distance. Most notable difference at this point, certainly the temperature has come down. What is happening outside the Capitol appears to be a peaceful protest as people are filing out. Where they go from here is an open question. D.C. has a curfew that will go into effect at 6 o'clock. Certainly, people are being encouraged to go home or go back to their hotels.
They'll be arrested if they don't.
That remains a bit of an open question where the crowd from here is going. Nora?
Right, and Chris Van Cleve, as you note, as Virginia has been involved in as well, Governor Northam, at the request of Alexandria, Virginia, which is just right across the river where probably some protesters could be staying. I shouldn't say protesters, part of this mob group now we're calling them, are staying. They're also imposing a 6 p.m. curfew there as well, and a state of emergency in Virginia so that they can continue to respond and help in the nation's capital.
And the use of the bullhorns to notify them is to give basically the district and all the police there the legal authority to say, we warned you repeatedly. If you stay here, you will be arrested.
It's funny how they're just the only ones that seem to be getting that.
Municipal misdemeanor situation. You will be arrested because we are warning you. If you stay here, you will be arrested. If you disperse, you will not be. And that's a means.
Okay, so they do use the blowhorns a lot in most riots and stuff like that, but they haven't been as much as they say they have. As much time as they've given these people. There, nice, see? All the fence is. And it only took like 3 or 4 cops to put it back up. 4 or 5 cops to put it back up. They'll lock it back in place. Not a very sturdy fence. It shouldn't have to be. You should respect those boundaries. All the stuff you're seeing happen in this very slow time period. I mean, it's been a few hours now. We've been there all day, apparently, or for the most part. And just became a riot, like, I don't know, like 2 hours ago, maybe around 3 o'clock. They notified everybody that people had broken in to the, might have been around earlier, but when I got here, it was like 3 o'clock. So for almost 3 hours now, they're just getting them to disperse very slowly as it creeps closer and closer to that 6 p.m. curfew where they'll get arrested if they don't go. Watch, I guarantee you no arrests will be made because they will let them all through. Oh, I got a photo. I gotta check it on my phone though. I know that that's private information. Oh my God. I just got this news. Okay. A law enforcement woman who was shot inside the Capitol building died. So the rioters shot a Capitol building police officer and killed them. What more do you need? Why are these people not being arrested? Why were they not immediately dispersed of at the beginning of this? Why are they being shown so much favoritism because they're white? You can't tell me there's any other real reason. You can't. This is sick. This is a sick joke. They're white nationalists. They're all about suppressing power. So guess what? They have all these extra rights that you didn't know existed. This is disgusting. There should have been rubber bullets flying at the least. There should have been some real bullets flying when that happened to that police officer. Dead. He's dead. The rioters killed a police officer. Killed a police officer. So much for back in the blue there, huh? This is disturbing. They're just letting them all go. Go home. You're fine. Just go home. Disperse. Come on. Disperse. Disperse. Slap on the wrist. They killed a cop. Arrest them all. Particularly arrest the group that was inside the Capitol building. But no, you let them go too. I watched that live on this. You saw it. It was right freaking there. They're crawling out the windows as they were throwing smoke. Crawling out the windows like, oh, we were in here, but now we're not. We got to go. They're peacefully letting these peoples go. These traitors go. Rioters. Disgusting human beings. This is infuriating. We have a weak government, complacent government to racism, and white supremacists. We can't have this. This needs to change. That guy's going to be there for 10 more minutes, and if he's not fucking arrested, both of these guys, those guys aren't pressed. None of those guys with those flags or anything are pressed. All those people need arrested. You're going to get arrested, buddy. And if you're not, this is just for show. This whole thing would have been for show. And somebody died because of it, and you're doing this shit for show. Acting like, oh, we're getting him to go. We're going to get him to go. No, not getting him to go. These people just casually walking along. Are they just staying up there still? Oh, you're pressed. Sorry about that. I didn't know because I thought you were with them. It's the reporter. I had it muted. Sorry, but you get my drift though. The people that aren't the reporters, even the reporters have to stay behind the lines, but they don't have to go afterwards. They're obviously they have risks and junk like that. If people that'll get them out of, they have their areas that they're told they can be in, junk like that. Christ. I hate what I'm witnessing here. I hate what I'm witnessing. This complacency, this lack of motivation to actually do things. Yeah, they're about to make America great again if they actually stick by what they said. Give them about 8 minutes, buddy. You're about to be detained. Lawfully detained. Lawfully detained. Okay? Jeez. They're just getting further away. It's not that they're dispersing, they're just getting further away. But the problem is all of DC. Anywhere they stand in DC, they need to be arrested. You need to get a whole bunch of police paddy wagons together and shove them all in droves. And I'm sure they have a few, like, police buses where they can just shove a whole bunch of people that are under arrest. Just checking a few things. Give me a sec, guys. About 7 minutes. Okay. Man. Yeah, I'm trying to get my pillows actually made. I'm talking to a guy who been doing some research, and he's asking me how much I was looking to pay for my pillows to be made. You actually have to be able to turn a profit, obviously. I'm gonna see what's feasible. Yeah. Looking on that Amazon route like I am, he won't be able to propose those prices to me because he won't be able to make any money. But Amazon won't let me print my stuff on it anyway. I'm going to try making it about half size for my one last ditch effort to print it on a pillow. Hopefully it'll work. If it doesn't, because of the content. They're not telling me it's because of the content. They're just saying, no, this is not a valid picture. Yeah. Amazon, my advertising stopped. Yeah, because I stopped advertising. Gotta move that purposes. That. That in my inbox, in case he gets back to me today, if not later. I've done a lot of research into that, and I just feel like hey, that guy says 12. Static. Gotta find somebody willing enough to actually talk. And yeah. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Four more minutes. Let's see if they'll actually arrest anybody. Dude, they don't even have their shields up. How lax have you ever seen a riot officer at a riot? Probably not that lax. Probably not that laid back. And he feels safe enough to put his shield down. I get it. That thing's kind of heavy. I'll give him that. Take that back. Things are probably pretty heavy. But they're not reacting anywhere near what they react like when it's anything to do with helping the people. This helps the president, so it's literally something they're so freaking hesitant on. Dude's gonna get arrested. Watch him get a presidential pardon for being a freaking terrorist. Here we go. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. See him call this shit. I'm in the same time zone, so that's why I can say this with great accuracy. Oh my god, here we go. Might be a time delay of about a minute or two. So that's just because of the filming process is not exactly live anymore. You know how that goes. There's a delay. Short delay due to them not wanting to show that Trump. This is the guy right at the end there. He was a Trump thumper who was standing right by the police line. And they're all standing like right out there. All of them, all the way around, like 500 of them or so, probably. They're not leaving. And they think they're not going to get arrested in a minute. Oh, this ought to be fun. Watch this crap. Fire department's like, oh yeah, there's no fires, which is great, but police are about to go on through. Hey, look, it's the military. What is... I am slightly confused. Those are rioters in full gear. Not really regulation gear, but no. Wow, come on, guys. Arrest them. It's 6 o'clock, okay? They pulled this shit when our curfew was supposed to happen out in Columbus. They would close up 10 minutes early. Why aren't they starting to arrest people like 10 minutes early? Because they would literally detain you if you were somewhere you weren't supposed to be inside the city. They would. Did they give them about 10 minutes to head in that direction, or they'd arrest them early. So once that time frame hit, boom, you're under arrest. You're detained. You're detained. It's 6 o'clock now. Anything going on? Oh, they're just yelling at the cops. Yelling at the cops. No. I don't see anybody being arrested. I don't see anybody being told that they're going to get arrested. Anybody under arrest? At all those protesters. We're going to arrest you. No, it wasn't an if, and, or but. You're supposed to arrest them all right now. Boom. Take action. Take action. Take them down. Come on. Got them all cornered in this little spot. They've secured the building. They're probably going back to what they were supposed to do. But they're not arresting any protesters. Still standing there. That's not earlier. That's live. Arrest them. Oh, you don't want to do your job because they're white supremacists, misogynistic, and Trump supporters. Arrest. It's 6 o'clock. 6:01. You're a little late. I'll give you some lag. Okay, I'll give you another minute at most before you need to move in and arrest. Before there's no excuses. Go. Okay, gearing up. Looks like you're preparing. Okay. Got the say so? Got the say so. All right. Okay. They've been warned. They've already been warned. So you just have to do what you have to do. You know this. Okay? They're out past curfew. They're out past curfew. Arrest them. Arrest them. They're out past curfew. Arrest them. This is bullshit. This is the stupidest bullshit I've ever seen in my life. You're sitting there tying your shoe. You're supposed to be arresting people. You're fired. Are you guys taking off your riot gear? I hope you're securing that shit. Okay, so what do you do? What are we doing? What are we? Okay, spreading out. That's the general thing you have to do. Why are you taking off your helmet? Okay, yeah, okay. Oh, all right. They might be getting ready to detain people. Taking their sweet ass time. 3 minutes late already. Come on. Okay, get in your gear. Get in your gear. Yep, come on. Oh, this is a PR stunt right here. Bunch of black cops up front to arrest the white guys. use officers too. Oh, probably because they don't think any of the white officers will actually arrest people. They'll let them go. I would believe that shit. Anyway. This is... Come on. What are you... Just getting ready? Come on. Oh, bring him back. I want to see him get arrested. Okay, there we go. This isn't earlier. This is live. He's got a pitchfork. Lady's got a pitchfork. She needs to be hard. Okay, they're all out past curfew. What is your excuse now? There's no excuse. Plain old bull. You're seeing it right here, guys. Our fascist country and their ignorant response to a bunch of people supporting undermining democracy. Seeing it right here on the news, live. That's what you're seeing. There's no describing this other than those people are out past curfew and they're not being arrested. They're not being arrested. They're not being pursued. They're not being detained. They're not being anything. Walking back and forth. It's right there. They're not being arrested. The cops are just standing by. Just standing by. Why do I live in this country? Why? What kind of faith am I supposed to have in our government to be non-discriminative, fair, equal about anything when this is their reaction to rioters? They didn't arrest them. There's still rioters out. They're not all gone. They didn't magically disappear. Go back to around the other side of the building. There's a ton of them just standing around behind the police line that should be arrested. A DC cop has been shot and killed. They ain't arrested anybody. What is this? Okay, let me see what they're saying.
So I and about 15 or 20 other members were among the last, and then all of a sudden they wouldn't let us evacuate anymore. They barricaded the doors and said there were intruders again in the hallway, and the next thing I knew, there was glass breaking and shots being fired, and we were told to get down. And then I don't know how long that lasted. I honestly don't remember. And then at some point they were able to secure the hallway again, and we were able to evacuate.
Where did you stay securely after all of this happened?
Well, I'm still where we were taken, but we're not at liberty to disclose where we are. There's about 300 to 400 of us in one location, and we've been here ever since we were evacuated.
And all of you are packed in there together?
Yes.
Are you concerned about coronavirus?
Very much so. It's what I would call a COVID super spreader event. About half of the people in the room are not wearing masks, even though they've been offered surgical masks. They've refused to wear them.
Who are these people?
People from the Republican delegation. Not all of them by any means. I don't mean to suggest that they all have, but some of the newer members from this that are freshmen this year are openly flaunting that they will not wear a mask and refusing to put a mask on.
And just as a reminder, Congresswoman, are all members of Congress required to be tested?
We're not required to be tested, but testing is readily available every day that Congress is in session. And most of us take advantage of that, at least when we first get to D.C. and before we go back to our respective districts.
So you predict a number of lawmakers may contract coronavirus after this event?
I'm not going to predict anything, but it's certainly exactly this kind of situation that we've been told by the medical doctors not to be in. Close proximity, especially with people that aren't wearing masks, I mean, we weren't even allowed to get together with our families.
6:08. They're still not arresting him. 6:08.
And now we're in a
Still not
room with
arresting him.
people who are flaunting the rules. And
look at all those people on the streets right there. Right there.
I'm sorry to hear that, Congressman.
All the way around the way. Those aren't cops. Those are all protesters. Hundreds of them.
I must ask you,
probably.
We've heard now from the former President George W. Bush, who has called this mob attack on the Capitol an insurrection. You know, he didn't even call it disgraceful. He rebuked the reckless behavior, he said, of lawmakers who engaged in these objections. How would you characterize what happened today?
I hadn't heard that because we don't have access to television.
They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. They're sitting around. It's a casual thing. Oh, we got them to disperse. It's okay. They're safe people. Fucking, I'd fire them all. You need to redo how our system works. We need equality in this country. Letting these people out after curfew and not arresting them immediately? Those are protesters right there. Obviously. They're not in police gear. They're not supposed to be there. It's after curfew. Why are you not arresting people? Oh, it's not our job. We're stationed right here. Where if there's anybody around, you're supposed to detain them. Stupid. This is taking so long, and there's still people walking around. They were supposed to be arrested. Now walking around, arrested. You just managed to back them off. That's it. Back them up. There we go. Look at that. That's not incriminating at all. I'm gonna walk by with a couple Trump flags. They're not arresting any of them. Look at that. Look, they're all just pushed back. That's all it is. Literally, they're all behind the police line. But the order for the city was to arrest anybody out after curfew. What is this? They're just standing there. And the Trump protesters are just standing there, not being arrested. Fire every one of these motherfuckers right now. Might as well. It's about the same amount of help they're given. This is retarded. Still protesting. He's not under arrest, is he? Nope. Still outside the Capitol building. They're still out after curfew. What are you doing? What are you doing? Talking about the freaking secured building? Come on, people. We want to know why you aren't doing what you were told to do. Arrest these people. Arrest the protesters. Come sweeping through and arrest the protesters. This is retarded. Anybody ever has a Black Lives Movement anywhere, and I hear anybody say that it turned violent and that the cops immediately started tear gassing, rubber bulleting them, and dispersing them and arresting them, I want them fired immediately. Being racist, white nationalist. Not the country I was born into. This is not the country I was born into. This is not what I was taught. This is not what any of us were taught. There are consequences for your actions, especially treasonous ones, especially terroristic behavior, inciting people to overthrow the democracy that is the United States. They're called traitors and be arrested. You ain't arrested anybody out here. You're just letting them walk around freely. Look at this. There's a couple hundred of them right there, right now. They ain't being arrested. It's after curfew. It's 13 minutes after curfew. You guys should have some buses lined up, a bunch of people in cuffs, and you should have freaking, yeah, so much for your curfew plans. This is bullshit. Whole freaking thing has been a sham. It's a fucking sham. Arrest them. There they are. They're out after curfew. Come on. Look at that. They're letting them march down the street. Slowly. After curfew. After they've been told that they would be arrested. Not ushered away. Arrested. You guys can't stand by shit. Peace. Okay. Yeah. All right. Hope he gets back to me. I want to make some body pillows. God, I'm just torn at what to do right now. Been watching this for over an hour. They've been out about 20 minutes past curfew. Literally, I think that's the protesters right behind them. Is that the protesters right behind them? Or is that more police? I would hope that's more police. No, there's protesters. You see the flags? Protesters that need to be arrested because it's after 6 o'clock. After curfew. Arrest them. There is no questioning. There is no intimidating. There is only the rule of law that you are completely belligerently ignoring. Come on. I want to see the consequences for their actions. For their treasonous actions. Come on. Not this shot. Go back to the front shot. I want to see the people that are out there. This is retarded. Most relaxed. Just relaxed. Casual. Oh, this is nothing. This is nothing. This is fucking unbelievable is what it is. This is a sad day in American history. More than that, it's a sad day. Democracy. Because even after it's certified and he gets in office, unless there's major changes, the action behind the words, nobody's going to give a shit about the government anymore. Nobody going to give a shit about the government. Are you finally moving in to arrest him yet? 20 minutes after freaking curfew? Doing some stretches? Or are you just doing more intimidation tactics? Right. I'm getting just overly angry about this whole situation. It's hard not to. See the slow, paced out reaction time of these police officers when in any other instance, it would have been almost immediate. It would have been preemptive. They would have had all these people out there before then. They would have had them ready. They would have had them standing idle. No, they had to call these people in. They had to call these people. Okay, so now the protesters over there, they're not arresting them. Still, 20 minutes after curfew, they're not arrested yet. Just message. An old mess. An old. Can't show you guys that. They're still just standing out there, not being arrested. No, you had your chance. Don't walk them anymore. Arrest them. Arrest. You're still pushing them back after curfew. They need arrested. Not pushed back. Arrested. This is stupid. Arrest them. Any of these guys with cameras are not press. Arrest them. Arrest them. God. Dang.
You see where they'll draw a line, they'll mass up, and then you'll start hearing them move back, and they'll establish a new line of new perimeter.
But that's not doing what they said they were going to do.
Police are walking people away from the Capitol. Hey, Mass, we need to go this way here. You're going to hit a fence. Yep. We're moving back here, further back from the Capitol. You know, these sort of things are pretty commonplace in D.C.
Commonplace, but the curfew states that anybody out in the protest after curfew is to be arrested. I give up. I'll see how they dealt with it tomorrow, but I guarantee you it's not how they're supposed to. This is just disappointing. I got to think about what I'm going to do, what I want to do. as this unfolds. Because this is not the end. This is just the start. The start of this shit, guys. This is not the end of it by any means. This is just the beginning. But because it hasn't been dealt with appropriately, with the appropriate action and measures, cops dead because of this. They don't care because it's a woman cop, right? They don't care because it was done by somebody who supports Trump. Somebody who supports Trump just killed a police officer. And they're not arresting anybody for being out after curfew. They're just pushing them back. This is stupid. Climb over. Very agile. Toby's gonna get arrested over there. Dude, get it. You're big. Just go around it. Just detach it and go around it. Come on. Oh my god. They should be arresting him. Just saying. This is retarded. They're all just conjuring. That's what they're doing. They're all just conjuring. And I would worry about what those guys are doing. What are they getting out of there? What are they getting out of there?
Curfew was in effect was you would have an effort to push the crowd back, to
go
get
back,
people to
go
disperse.
back. Put your camera on that
and
thing.
Then you'll
Put your
end
camera
up
on that
with,
thing. Come
sort
on.
of a core group
Are they
of
getting out weapons?
on. That's then when you would start to hear the police say, if you don't disperse, you will be arrested. They normally give that warning 2 or 3 times before they move in and make the arrest. So far,
this is disgusting. This is terrible to watch. I check my phone again for messages. Seriously makes me think, guys. Seriously makes me think. Really isn't much keeping me here right now. The spot I'm at. There's nothing tying me down. So I feel bad because not all you guys have that freedom, that luxury. But obviously I'd have to bring a few people along. Really up to their legal guardians. But if this keeps going the way it's going, I'm getting out of here. No. Unless justice starts happening. Unless our system starts working appropriately. I'm just... This is just horse shit. Racist, misogynistic, toxic, patriotic bullshit. Toxic patriotism, white nationalism, misogynistic, racist bullshit. You wonder why people don't have faith in our country right now. Talk. Oh, let's just tell them to go. Let's just tell them to go. They're given a curfew and 30 minutes later, they're not arrested yet. Yeah, they usually give them 2 or 3 warnings. When did they ever do that in Columbus? When I witnessed that shit, there wasn't that many warnings. There was at most like maybe one warning before they started firing the tear gas. Maybe one warning before they started shooting rubber bullets. This shit does not need to be shit that is different from state to state. This needs to be streamlined. Okay, this is not the same thing. You're trying to hold on to some grasp of patriotism right now, and some grasp of the country is okay, when they're treating these with privilege. They're treating these protesters, these rioters, with privilege. That's what they're doing. I'm going to say it over and over again until it gets through everybody's thick skull. They are treating these rioters with privilege. It's sick. It is disgusting. It's disturbing. They're just pushing him back. They haven't arrested him. Been almost 30 minutes past curfew. Plenty of time for them to get back to their vehicles and go home. Sorry, I get tired already. Been a really bad Tuesday. It's a terrible Tuesday for this country and for me specifically. Bad Tuesday. No, it's Wednesday. Never mind. Bad Wednesday. Nice. Wednesdays usually aren't this bad. Wait for me to check what day it was. All my days run together, so you can't really get on me about that. All of these people should be under arrest. There are literally hundreds of protesters still out that should all be arrested. Ample time, ample warning. And you're just showing them so much support by not acting. That's what you're doing. You're supporting this insurrection. You're supporting this terrorism by not arresting them, as you were ordered to do to begin with. Oh, they're having a tailgate party, huh? Christ. Look, yeah, they're all just back there. Brought their freaking kids to this crap. I hope their kids learn something really, real simple, fundamental things right here. Like, you don't incite riots. You don't riot. Especially not government. Okay, let me see.
As we come on the air, the U.S. Capitol is under lockdown after violent mobs, stoked and encouraged by the words of President Trump and his allies, stormed the building while the House and Senate were in session. They were meeting to count the votes of the Electoral College. Supporters of President Trump carrying flags with his name on them broke down doors, smashed windows, and attacked police. Some briefly invaded the Senate chamber. At this hour, at least one person has died. Others have been injured, and at least 2 suspected explosive devices have been disabled. All of this because President Trump has refused to accept that he lost the election and has falsely told his supporters that it was stolen from him. The process to count the electoral ballots has been halted. Right now, Washington, D.C. is under a mandatory curfew, and police and the National Guard are trying to restore order. It has been an extraordinary day. Congressional leaders have pleaded for President Trump to call off the protesters. Late today, he did tweet a video in which he repeated his false claims that the election was stolen from him, and he called on protesters to go home. President-elect Biden also spoke, and actually spoke before the President of the United States, saying that our democracy is under unprecedented assault. He also said America is so much better than this. At this moment, we are told that the Capitol building has been secured and that the counting of electoral votes may continue later tonight. We have a team covering all of this. I want to go back to CBS's Chris.
That one dead is a female police officer, if you guys haven't already heard. A female police officer. DC police. They shot and killed her. A rioter shot and killed her. A traitor shot and killed her. Complacency. Complacency. Right there. Complacency. Got to give up on this shit. Give up on the whole idea of this shit. should all be under arrest. It's 6:30. They're out past curfew. They are subject to arrest. It's freaking retarded. This is disgusting. Alright, I'm done watching this stuff. I'm going to go sulk for a while, contemplate, just think. Guys, have fun. I suppose I should still hope for the best, although this sick crap, and from what I showed you earlier, those rioters having guns inside the Capitol building, this is not going to call. Wish us luck for the future, guys. That's all you can do. Everybody else in every other country in this world, wish us luck. I don't know if we're going to make it through this. This kind of freaking complacency. Stupid. Why are all these people not arrested? In cuffs, being pursued, being tear gas, rubber bullets, anything right now? Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. They're rioters. They've been declared rioters. It's done. It's over. It should have been dispersed hours ago.